All right, let's talk about carbs. Carbohydrates, do they make you fat? No, they can actually help you build muscle and through that process burn body fat, but you should leverage them the right way. We're going to talk about carbs today, how to eat them, when to eat them, what to eat to maximize their effect. Let's go.
Have you ever tried to build without them?
Yes.
It's incredibly difficult.
It's much
really
harder.
hard. Yeah.
It's much harder. So I think first we should start with some of the myths around carbohydrates and maybe there's some facts before we kind of get into breaking down how to leverage them in the right way. First thing is that carbs don't make you fat. I think a lot of people believe that carbohydrates have this like special ability to cause fat gain. That's actually not true. Excess calories cause fat gain. That being said, protein has a higher thermic effect than both fat and carbs, so that one's a little less or causes less of that effect. Nonetheless, they don't cause fat gain. And I know this became kind of a thing after the introduction of the low-carb kind of popularity diets in the 90s where people saw...
Is the Atkins what kicked it off? Is that what really kicked it off?
Mm-hmm. Low-carb diets go way back, but that, just for context, in the 80s and 90s, we were hammered with fat, that fat was bad. Avoid fat at all costs. And Atkins comes out with a diet that's like, no, eat all the fat you want.
Yeah, eat fat.
Just don't eat carbohydrates. And it was a low-calorie diet. That's why people lost weight on it. But it was so counter from what everybody had heard for so long that it suddenly became the scapegoat. And so then every problem got blamed on carbohydrates. And that became the enemy. And that still lingers. You still see or hear people saying, or believing that carbohydrates have this like special
I feel like
ability.
we saw the same cycle with vegan and carnivore diet. You just saw it happen so much faster because of social media and how quickly and documentaries, how quickly that pendulum swung. Where before, it's a book that comes out. It takes,
You're right.
5 years
to make their rounds on the
it takes
shows.
5 years to adopt. It slowly makes it. And it's like, then it's a big thing for like 10 years where it's like, we got hammered hard with like veganism. And then quickly after that, we have carnivore diet. Like
not to sidetrack, but you want to talk about a formula for selling a diet book. Just write a book on the opposite of what everybody else is saying, and for people to buy it.
Well, especially if you can back
that's
some
the
of it up
recipe.
logic, like some of it makes sense and is true. And I mean, the Atkins diet is rooted in a lot of truths. I think it's just like you said, it's because it was the opposite of what everybody was doing, and there was a lot of truth to it. That's what makes it so popular.
That's right. Now, carbohydrates are great for energy that is required during physical exertion. They've done study after study on carbohydrate intake and athletic performance, power and strength in particular. Now, for low-level intensity endurance, you can go without carbohydrates so long as calories and fat are high enough, and you'll be okay. Like if you're hiking or walking or really slow distance running or swimming. But when it comes to exerting power or strength, like carbohydrates make a difference when all things are equal.
Yeah, if you've seen, fat-adapted athletes, the only time I've seen them really thriving is the endurance type of activity.
Like low, and it's also low intensity.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 100-mile races.
No, anything fast twitch is going to be kind of brutal without carbs.
Well, we saw that. Remember the massive pivot that CrossFit had to do?
Yeah.
Remember CrossFit came out and paleo was the original
and they were hardcore paleo.
Yeah.
There weren't even tubers.
Like seeds.
And they had to totally pivot away from that because it just was not conducive for these athletes that were pushing at that high level. And it's not like paleo is carb free. You still get carbs in paleo, but
it was just fruit.
Yeah.
That's all
minimal.
they
allowed. Sweet potato too, I think, though.
No. This was the early days.
Yeah,
They were hardcore paleo.
it was even without
anything.
that.
Yeah,
I thought they had that in there.
They had to throw in sweet potato later because their athletes were like, this isn't working.
Yeah, they're
then
bonking hard.
They were taking the philosophy and twisting it a little bit and say, well, potatoes might be okay.
Yeah, paleo-esque.
Yeah. And then they saw better.
And then realized, okay, this is
So
probably
it's
not the
the
best way to
carnivore
go.
added honey now.
Yeah.
So it's,
But for
It's
strength,
interesting.
power, athletic performance, like you want carbohydrate. Of course, there's always individual variances with this, but the data on this is pretty clear. Now, another truth around carbohydrates, between fats, carbs, and proteins, they produce the least satiety. Meaning you're going to get the most satiety signal, right? The strongest signal that says I'm full from protein. Second is fats, carbohydrates are last. So they do produce the least amount of satiety, which is why
beneficial to bulk with carbs.
That's right. And some people find success going low carb because they bump their fats and their protein, and then suddenly their appetite is lower. This is where I could see the value with some people going on a calorie deficit with lower carbohydrates. Their fats and proteins tend to be higher. Yeah. Carbohydrates are inexpensive. That can be a plus for people looking for energy sources. It's the least expensive macronutrient, proteins being the most expensive. And then carbohydrates have been shown to help with recovery. In fact, I just saw a recent study that showed that eating carbohydrates post-workout within a couple hours will improve performance even a day later or 2 days later, even if they in comparison to someone eating these carbs later. So there may be some truth to eating carbohydrates within that 2 hour.
Do you think that is
window.
more related to carbohydrates or just probably a calorie surplus, or did they tease that out?
They said that they controlled for it.
Oh, okay.
So there seems to be a benefit, and athletes at the highest levels will tend to confirm this. I think this is splitting hairs. I think there are cases where eating carbohydrates right after workout or food right after workout might not be a good idea, especially if you have gut health issues.
Yeah.
But if you're like kind of redlining, it's probably a good idea. And carbohydrates do, when you eat them, they do help shuttle amino acids into muscle as well, just through spiking insulin. So again, splitting hairs, but it does make a difference with recovery. All right, let's talk about the most important points here with carbohydrates. How should we leverage them, and what should we choose if we want to maximize them for muscle gain and fat loss? The most important thing to consider with carbohydrates are pick ones that are easy to digest. Mm-hmm. That's the most important thing.
Rice, sweet potato.
Typically it's white rice, sweet potato, fruit. Where people have issues with carbohydrates when they say, "Oh, I feel better not eating them or eating less of them." Oftentimes,
bread, pasta.
Yeah. Oftentimes it's because
gluten.
they're eating carbohydrates that affect their digestion.
Yeah.
So in my experience working with clients, most people, not always, but most people do best avoiding gluten containing carbohydrates. And these are people who are non-celiac. These are people without like major issues. But when I would control for calories and macros, and we would just go from gluten containing to non-gluten containing, they tend to do better. And I think that's because gluten is a kind of a hard protein to break down.
And a lot of the options people usually get are just highly processed.
That's the other one.
Yeah, for carbohydrates.
Yeah. You want easy to digest carbohydrates, because if they start to bog you down, then that's going to cause issues with your performance in your workouts. Next up, you want to eat carbohydrates before a hard workout. So especially if it's going to be a lengthy, intense workout, having carbohydrates a couple hours before has been shown in studies to contribute to improved performance. This isn't always 100% true. Some people do well fasted, but typically they're fasted because they ate a large carbohydrate meal maybe the night before. These are like early morning workouts. That's me. But eating them a couple hours before a workout is typically a good idea.
Well, how paramount is this to somebody who is playing basketball or going for a long run or a long hike or doing something that's going to exceed even beyond an hour? How important does this become?
Very important. Yeah, right. Now you see changes in performance. Now you see improved performance with those carbohydrates. I know when you were bodybuilding, Adam, this wasn't an endurance sport, but we've said this many times on the show, that you would have to maximize the feel, the pump, and the just the results you got, having 2 carb meals before your workout.
Yeah, I'd have to have north of 75 grams of carbs before I went into the workout to feel like, and I had got it down to like a science of knowing that like anything less than that, I had less of a pump. Any more than that was insignificant to see a difference. And so it was right around 75 grams of carbohydrates going into a workout. Now, mind you, that means nothing to everybody else because that was my body and what I needed. But there was a significant difference in the pumps that I got and the performance inside the gym.
Now, Justin, you're the most athletic minded of all of us. There was a period there where you went really low carb.
I know.
And I remember you stopped because you said your workouts.
Yeah, they were suffering. It was just one of those things. I think that initially I liked it because I was low on the gluten side of things and like the inflammatory type of foods. But my performance suffered dramatically. I would bonk pretty hard in my workout.
Yeah. Next up is to eat carbohydrates after a hard workout, especially if you plan. This is a big one, especially if you plan on working out again, not too long after. This is super important for people who work out twice a day, or for people who work out really hard many days in a row. That post-workout meal, and it could be an hour afterwards, with carbohydrates will probably improve your recovery and improve your performance with the following workout. So
is that because your body's going to tap into that glycogen first to help aid in the recovery process? And if it doesn't have that there, it's going to slow that process down?
So here's where it gets like hair splitting, right? But you have the GLUT4 receptor that gets activated from exercise. And that's a receptor that kind of moves to the outside of the cell and starts sucking in or drawing in carbohydrates, which also helps suck in things like fluid and bring in amino acids. That doesn't stay like that for super long. That's like a couple hours post-workout.
Yeah.
So you're taking advantage of that by eating the carbohydrates after. So there was a now we used to think there were some studies that said it didn't matter so long as you eat the carbs, later in the day or whatever, it doesn't make a difference. There was another study that showed that it did affect performance if they ate it, within an hour or two afterwards versus later with the following days. Today's program giveaway for this episode is MAPS Anabolic. If you want to enter to win, leave a comment below this video in the first 24 hours that we drop it. Subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications. If you win, we'll let you know in the comment section.
Now, is this the same science where we got the basis of the anabolic window and why that's so important, or is that more protein synthesis related?
Yeah, both. And the anabolic window, I hate talking about that because then people listening who are just trying to get fit and healthy start to place too much of an emphasis on that.
Yeah.
Like it makes a huge difference.
Because there's research to show that there's some benefit to it.
Yeah.
It's just very minimal.
I mean, in comparison to like what you're eating and workout programming and sleep, it's not that big of a deal.
It's like it makes sense when you are at the highest level of bodybuilding and you're weighing, measuring, tracking, timing, everything. It's like, sure, why not also try and hit this window? About 99.9% of the population, it's like, just eat well.
Now, for clients that I've worked with, this often makes a difference, less because of what you said, Adam, but more because when they don't do this, they end up eating too little.
Well, that was my defense for it all. It's because I understood that it was insignificant. Even being in bodybuilding, I thought it was insignificant to the anabolic window and protein synthesis. And did I build much? No, it was more like what I found was if I ate before I got in the workout, and if I had myself do a shake like while I was at the gym, I was able to get home and then have another meal, and that additional 300 to 400 calories helped me hit my caloric intake. And then when I go to a cut, I'd actually just reverse that out. I'd actually just get rid of it because it was easy for me not to do that. Yeah, and so that was an easy place for me to pull 300 to 500 calories in and out of my diet. That was the main reason why I
used to. This would benefit a lot of my female clients who would struggle eating enough because they were so afraid of gaining weight. And so one way I would get them to eat a little more would be to emphasize this like post-workout meal.
Yeah.
And then they get all these great results, and it was mostly due to the fact that they were eating a little more.
Yeah.
And if they didn't do it, then they just didn't have the time to eat those additional calories. Next up, this is good for, I like doing this strategy for fat loss because carbohydrates are not essential, right? So proteins and fats are essential, meaning if you don't eat enough of them, regardless of how many calories you eat, your body's not going to thrive. In fact, in extreme cases, you'll get severe illness and or die. In other words, you could eat 10,000 calories a day. If you're not eating enough essential fatty acids or enough essential amino acids, you're not going to make it, even with a lot of calories. Yeah. Carbohydrates are not like that. You could go with zero carbs forever and be okay. It might not be ideal, but they're not essential. What that allows us to do is use carbohydrates to cut our calories and stick with proteins and fats being consistent. So I used to like to have my clients match their carb intake to activity.
Yeah.
Right? So low activity days, let's eat less carbs. More activities, let's eat more carbs. And we had appropriate caloric intake without sacrificing the essential proteins and fats.
I think what you're
smart strategy
pointing to is also the success that I had with like carb cycling.
Yes.
I just found that and I think there's something to be said too about having a kind of a different goal every day. So you're not eating like the same thing every single day. It's like, oh, today I get to enjoy an additional 100 grams of carbs. And I actually feel that when I do that. And so just changing that up every day and really what you're doing to the client, it has nothing to do with really what we try to make the science sound to be is like what's happening there. It's literally all you're doing is you're cycling.
Undulating it.
Yeah, you're undulating calories by 300 to 500 calories over the course of 3 to 4 days.
Your body does well with that.
Yeah, and the body does well with that, responds. You're in a caloric deficit.
Behaviorally, it's great.
Yes.
Some days are higher than others. Doesn't feel like you're always in a super low calorie. And it's the macronutrient that you can play with the most because you go all the way down to zero.
Yeah.
With fats and protein.
Non-essential, you can take it out.
And with fats and protein, especially if calories are low, sometimes I would get clients where they were afraid to eat too many fats, maybe because they were, in our generation. And it's like, we're not cutting your fats. Like we're going to start to go below what's essential. And regardless of what else we eat, you're going to feel horrible. Whereas with carbs, I could drop those down, up and down. We're going to be totally okay.
Yeah, they get fearful of that because it's high calorie.
That's right.
Yeah, it's essential.
That's right. Next up is to eat them after your protein. So for the kind of similar reason, proteins, fats are essential. Typically, when you eat a protein, fats come along with it if you're eating from natural sources. Proteins and fats, because they're essential, are more important. Eat those first. Eat those first in your meal. Save the carbohydrates for the very end.
Well, yeah, and organically manage the amount of carbohydrates you end up intaking.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's like you sit down and start eating chips or bread or or even like pasta, rice, name it, first. You end up eating so much more, get full on that, and then this was so common with my clients, is having a hard time to eat 8 ounces of meat. Well, they had a hard time because they didn't eat it first. They ate the carbohydrate or whatever the appetizer
spikes,
was that
managed.
came first. Yeah, and they get full on that, and then we're all guilty of this, right? How many times have you done that where there's nothing worse? That's
You go
like,
to a steakhouse.
it's the worst thing ever. You're starving. You go to a real nice steakhouse. You order a steak, but then you also order appetizers because you're dying, and then
Or they bring you bread.
and then you're eating bread and appetizers. Then your $150 steak comes and you don't even finish it. It's like, what a waste that is. And so that strategy of telling the client just eat the protein / fats first, and it tends to manage the carbohydrates really well.
And then Justin mentioned the other one is it manages blood sugar and insulin very well. When you eat protein first, regardless of what else you eat afterwards, your blood sugar levels are more stable. Thus, you're going to have more stable insulin levels. And so it's better for mood. In fact,
mood, cravings, all those things. Yeah.
one of the applications for some people for anxiety, if people wake up with anxiety, I've heard psychologists recommend this before, and I've done it with clients. Some people will wake up feeling kind of anxious. Eating a protein fat meal in the morning tends to help that throughout the entire day, and it's the blood sugar management. Next up, don't drink your carbs. This is a terrible idea. You're better off eating them, and drinking carbs can get away from you real fast.
The only time that's ever recommended is for a hard gainer.
Yes.
That's the only time
When they just
It's helpful for hard gains.
Yeah. The only time that strategy is deployed is when I have a client who's just having such a hard time, and that's a great strategy to sneak a lot of calories in. And so if your goal is fat loss or maintaining, probably not a good strategy.
Right. Now, there are some performance benefits to drinking carbs during a workout. If you're doing like a 2-hour workout, you might want to have some in between.
Something super rigorous. Yeah, you need some energy quickly.
It makes a difference.
It makes a little sense too if you're somebody who knows that you perform better on some sort of calories or carbohydrates, and you train early.
Yeah.
And you don't want like a heavy meal before you go. So then it makes a little bit of sense that way. But you just got to be careful.
That's what I do sometimes. So you guys know I work out in the morning first thing. I'm fasted. If I'm planning a long workout, like there were a couple I did where I went up to the Santa Cruz Athletic Club. And that gym is it's just fun. There's so much stuff in there.
2-hour playground.
You end up doing all kinds of volume there.
Oh yeah, I'm going to overdo it. And so what I did is I brought coconut water, which is a great, nice natural source of carbohydrates. And I drink that throughout the workout. Otherwise I'd crash and I wouldn't be able to work out as long. It was an ideal workout, but those carbohydrates in the middle of the workout help, keep me going throughout the whole thing. And then finally, this is a question mark because it depends. What about before bed? An hour or two before bed. Here's what's interesting with this. Carbohydrates are used to help produce serotonin and melatonin, which can help with sleep. On the other hand, for some people, people will get blood sugar spikes, which will make their sleep worse.
Yeah.
This is really wild at how different people are with this.
I was wondering about, because I've heard about that, and I was always like, this would totally interrupt my sleep.
Well, this is a strategy with babies. You know that? A lot of times you have a baby's having a hard time and you crush up like cereal or something like
That's
that
right.
inside their milk.
Yeah.
And it'll help put them to
They
sleep
wake
like
up
that.
hungry.
No, it keeps them asleep.
Keeps them asleep. Yeah, it's a strategy for babies that actually wake up and you're wanting them to sleep longer. Crushing up like a cereal is like an old way of doing that.
Carbohydrate meal for dinner time always gives me better sleep. So even when I was lower carb, if I had them, it would be at dinner time, which was typically like 3 hours before bed, and I'd sleep better. So this one you'd have to experiment and see, what works best for you.
Yeah, I find if it's enough time before bed, it's plenty good. Like as long as it's 2-3 hours before, right before, not ideal, I think, because then your body's still digesting that food, and it's gonna disrupt sleep. Otherwise, I feel I sleep better on a big carb dinner.
Totally. All right, I'm gonna bring up the egg protein from Legion because it's just so good. And we were talking off air, and I have not used it in the Ninja Cream.
Yeah, I haven't used it at all, but I know that I do want to try it.
one of those.
And one of the things I'll do is I'll use it in the Ninja Creamy. I was just talking to our buddy about that just the other day. We're talking about all the different recipes, and we're sharing what I've got. 2 I do that I really like. It's a pistachio one, and then I do a strawberry graham cracker one.
Do you actually put pistachios in it?
Yeah, quarter cup. put a quarter cup of pistachios, real pistachios, and then I use a pistachio like whey protein.
Oh.
And then I do almond milk for the base, and then I use, this works really well for me. What would be great would be to use the Legion egg like this. So when you go to mix after it's been frozen, I actually use, they're not a sponsor of ours, but I use the ready to drink Premier shakes.
Yeah.
But I think it would be great to use the egg in that, because I don't use like a whole bunch of it. I use just enough to kind of to froth it up. And I think that the egg, I bet, would probably be even better.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying their egg protein because, and it's funny because a long time ago, so I can't have dairy. And then when my gut health was really bad, I could almost, there was few things I could eat. And eggs were like, sometimes I could, sometimes I couldn't. So I just wrote off egg protein. Well, my gut health's been great now for the last maybe 2 years. And Legion comes out with their egg protein, and I rediscovered it. It's like if you can't have dairy, but you want that super, amino acid profile. You want that anabolic, like the what they would call the perfect protein. Egg and whey are so close in terms of like their leucine content.
It also tastes better than your
Oh, it's good.
Yeah, your vegan proteins, are not nearly as good as like what whey is. And then I would say egg is the second best.
Very close.
Yeah, as far as flavor.
Even their
taste.
whey protein, though, I found is like the best digestible version I've ever had. So it's like I've had a bunch of different whey proteins out there, and it's like you'll get that response, even though I'm not necessarily. I don't think I'm that intolerant. I know you guys would probably argue otherwise.
He's in denial.
Still,
but it doesn't affect me really. Yeah,
I think that's a testament to Mike and the quality of stuff that he puts in all of his supplements. I mean, that Mike's always been so good.
He's crazy with quality.
Yeah.
Which it's so important. Every time they come out with a study, every time there's a third party that goes and tests supplements, I always wince. I'm always like, I look at the results and I close my eyes and I look at it, and it's always the same. It's like 80%. It's always like that.
Yeah.
80% of the supplements that they'll grab off the shelves either don't have what they say they do, have weird stuff in there.
Yeah, well, it's the most popular ones too.
Well, it's because the repercussions. What are they? Like a slap on the wrist? It's not like you're going to jail for lying about your protein spike.
Millions of dollars.
Yeah. If you don't have a lot of integrity, then it's a pretty savvy strategy to pixie dust it and to protein spike it and to do that as long as you can until you get slapped with some article, which it does a little bit of damage to you for a minute, but the amount of money that you made on those margins of lying basically about what you did, I'm sure trumps the loss that you make from the one bad article.
It's so crazy.
It's terrible, but that's because the logic that they're operating from.
They're like begging to be regulated. Have you seen the new thing that's happened on Amazon? These Chinese companies will copy identical a supplement. So they'll copy the brand, they'll do everything, and they'll sell it on Amazon. So you'll go on there and buy what you think is X brand or whatever, but it's actually a Chinese company, and they're selling you a fake.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. This is happening like crazy.
And Amazon doesn't shut that down?
How? You know how hard it is for them to see and figure out what's going on?
So let me get this right. So let's pretend it was Legion. I find Legion on Amazon.
You can find, I don't know if Legion.
And then it's like a weird bag that doesn't even look like Legion.
They'll make them look
same
identical.
label and all that.
Oh, they'll actually go through the process. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Dude.
Like knockoff sneakers.
Yeah.
Yes.
No way.
Yes.
Of course. Why would I not think that would be knockoff sneakers are so big, right? And they've gotten so good at making like the fakes look like the reals.
This is so terrible. I saw one company, maybe Doug, you can Google this. I saw one company that showed their bottle and they said, this is not us. And they were showing the bottle. It was a little bit different.
What's the differences? It's just like very subtle.
They copy them. They'll literally take it, copy it. They'll manufacture it over there.
Now I'm imagining what they're doing though is they're probably putting crap in it. Like it's
of course. Why would they make the same supplement with the same margin? To trick you?
Yeah. No, they're definitely so you
go on there looking for whatever brand.
You get a bunch of baby powder for like.
Well, who knows what they're throwing in there?
Of course, though, it makes so much sense that that's a hustle.
I can't believe it.
What I can't believe is
my cousin told me about this.
What I can't believe is that it's taken this long for us to hear or see something like that, because it just makes so much sense. Like I would think doing that is easier than replicating a pair of Jordans. Like that way, and they've gotten so good.
That requires skill.
Oh yeah, they've gotten so good at that a lot of people rep the fakes because they're like, oh, the fakes look so much like the reals and they're a quarter of the price. Why would I pay all this extra money? So it makes sense that a powder that's inside that's not regulated would, of course, I
They
can't
just
believe.
copy the label. They give you the bottle, and instead of giving you vitamin whatever, it's
No
it's
shit.
yeah, it's rice powder.
No way. Did you find an article on that?
Yeah, there's a lot of articles. I'm looking for some pictures, but
Yeah.
it seems to
See?
be pretty prevalent.
I
Yeah,
did not
dude.
know that.
So my cousin, I was talking to my cousin.
Yeah.
His dad, my uncle who passed away, was an owned a shop. He was an herbalist. And my cousin, we were talking about this, and he's like, dude, when you go on Amazon, are you careful? I'm like, well, we work with companies that send us stuff, but every once in a while, because I'm a fanatic, I'll go on Amazon and buy some whatever. And he's like, yeah, dude. He's like, 9 out of 10 times it's from random company in China. It's not even yeah. What? So I started going online, looking up these articles, and it's a big problem.
Yeah. So how do they? I mean, handle that? Verify like the specific companies. Like
You know what the problem is?
The different handles.
The
for them?
problem is that Amazon is such a big company that makes it easy for other people and companies to sell their products.
Yeah. Right.
That how can they
Hard to
possibly?
police.
Yeah,
hard to
it's
police.
How can they?
Difficult.
They would. How many people would they need to do that? And they would need to check everything. How would they?
Yeah, that you would have to make the process of being able to sell on more stringent to be
certified
able
would
to
kill their business model.
Right. Oh,
I know. Isn't that stupid?
It's so crazy to me that I never thought that would be a thing. It makes total sense that someone would do
Yeah,
that.
it makes me upset. See, Doug found a bunch of articles, and yeah, there you go. Look at that. Can you tell the difference?
Yeah, the bottles are almost identical.
Look at that.
Yeah.
And so people might be taking something
Wow.
and not even know.
Wow. Well, isn't Amazon's hustle to like, and this is like a legitimate above board hustle, is to watch a company, whether it be batteries, protein powders, whatever,
Yeah.
and just let them rank to the top. And it's like, there's
Check
the
out
best.
high sellers.
Then they go in and reverse engineer the product and then sell Amazon's version
Yep.
for a fraction of the price. And
See,
it's like,
look at that. So this is a major supplement company with
now
no
it's
affiliate.
huge. Now it's huge.
Now is huge. This is not no affiliate. Okay.
The one on the right's fake, right?
That's their website saying, hey, you guys, people are selling fake, supplements to make them look like they're ours. Which is just, again, they're just
It's just another reason why we don't want to do supplements.
Stop it.
Come
Should've told
on.
you this.
Could you-
no, because we'll do it right.
It's just riddled,
Dude,
dude.
get out of here, guy.
I got you, dude.
Oh my goodness.
Sketchy city, dude.
Just another nail in the coffin for me, dude. No, and then in a such a competitive business where the margins are 10% as it is, like,
I know.
ugh.
I know.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's new. That was new to me.
I got to tell you guys about I was listening to a podcast this morning on Huberman, and he had a doctor. It's so funny. His last name is like mine, so I'm going to say it wrong. Desteno, I think his name was.
Yep.
Dr. Desteno. And he's a psychologist.
I can't listen to his show. You can listen to his
I was
show?
listening to it,
You too? So dry.
Why, dude, why
I was
you
just
see-
talking.
He'll never come on our show. Oh,
Cliffs. Yeah,
Every
you got to
time.
warm them up.
Bro, like,
yeah, great.
put me to sleep.
Gee, I wonder why Huberman would answer our emails at him. Anyway.
It's great information.
I think he's great. I think he's great. He's obviously a hardcore scientist. So.
Yeah, you're a science dork. That's
Yes,
all.
that's what it is. Sure, that's what it is. But anyway,
I just watched the clips.
He had this.
yeah. Justin's like, I can Instagram
pretend to
handle.
be
I can
cool,
handle him.
but-
on
Well, no,
Instagram.
listen. He had this doctor on, Dr. David Desteno,
Okay.
who is a psychologist, and this guy studies the benefits of religion. So he's a scientist, and he's like, look, basically, I'm not here to talk. He's all, first of all, it's a dumb argument to try to debate the existence of God or not, because there's no way you could prove or disprove. This is just beyond the ability to do that. He goes, what I'm interested in is there real value to this? Is there real value to this belief? And so and I haven't listened to the whole episode, but he breaks down the data.
Oh, this is the stuff that you were interested in originally.
If I had heard this a while ago when I was an atheist, this would have helped move me here quicker, because I didn't know that this data existed. I thought
Really?
oh no, I didn't.
You shared so much of that. I feel like that was originally
that was the
what
beginning of me moving in
I was
this
going to say,
direction.
what moved you in that direction was you're like, before I was going to profess or say that I believe, I do know that there's lots of positive benefits.
Yeah, so you're talking probably 7 years ago is when I started to see this myself. But
Yeah.
before that, I believed that religion was bad, opiate of the masses, control people, it caused wars, like all the stuff that I think a lot of people falsely believe. And this guy goes through and talks about the data, and he talks about how the data is controlled. So he says, look, people who have a faith who practice it. Okay, so these are people who are really active in it, not people who just say I believe. Like people who actually live like they do. They they have far lower rates of all-cause mortality, far lower rates of cancer. They're happier, higher rates of purpose in their life and all that stuff. And he said, now a lot of people argue and say, well, that's because sick people can't get up and get out of bed and go to church. And he goes, well, actually, they do longitudinal studies and they follow people for years who go and then fall off and go and fall off. And he goes, and you can see clearly there's tons of benefit. Then there's the argument that says, and I love that he's a scientist and breaks this down. He says, some people will say, what's the community? That's the benefit. It's because you're around a lot of people. He goes, well, we look at studies of people who belong to other communities, like bowling leagues or rec leagues or hobbies where they meet with lots of friends.
Crocheting.
He goes, no. He says, no. Having a faith is significantly more positively impactful on people's lives. And he goes, so is this a supernatural effect or not? He goes, I'm not here to make that argument, but the data is clear. People are more charitable. They give more. They're more peaceful. They're more likely to adopt. They're less violent. There's just benefits.
The marriage one is the craziest one of the stat I ever saw. The couples that pray together
every night
is something crazy number.
The divorce rate's 1%.
That's wild.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Like, I mean, it just simply that stat alone, I think, is a super powerful stat.
And I've heard people try to explain it away. They'll say, and here's the key though, because some people, placebo effect. Well, for that to work, you have to actually believe it,
right?
Yeah. I mean, either way. And as a scientist, he says, what's interesting? He goes, some people say you have to show me the evidence before I can do it. And he goes, I'm showing you the evidence of benefit. The evidence for benefit is clearly there.
Yeah.
So you should definitely open your mind to this kind of stuff.
Right.
But with the marriage one, people will say, it's a very vulnerable time where we're talking and we're, praying together.
Even if that's true, it still works.
It works.
It's like, so what's it?
Show me
intimacy.
We could sit here and theorize and debate all day long on why it's happening. But if it's producing those kind of results, like, who cares?
Oh.
Like,
well,
I mean, if you're if you're in a position where you're fighting for your marriage, right? Like you love your spouse, but you can't get on the same page, but you want it to work. And I mean, first of all, that's like the first step to care to do that. And then to know that that's a possibility or that would enhance those chances. I don't know. I feel like that would open my mind.
There's nothing in Western society, nothing secular. There's no therapy, no anything that has that much of an impact to go from the 50% divorce rate to less than 1%.
Yeah, you don't see that kind of statistic.
No, and it's literally just from praying every night together. Yeah. So I think it's, and then the best ones for me are the charity. Give more to charity, donate more time to helping others. Just overall, it makes better people, which counters a lot of the beliefs that I had, back in the day, thinking it was bad.
Less about religion, more about just like practices that you do. That parents that are active and work out, their kids are 6 times more likely to.
Oh, because their parents do it?
Yeah.
I mean, I bet that's true for anything you do.
I know, right?
As a parent.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting to see that, right?
Sure.
Even bad habits.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're probably right. Like because what's this? I know the smoking one's really high. Like if you smoke, the likelihood your kids smoke is really, really high. So it's just like, it's a testament to
obesity. I mean,
they see what you do, not what you say, right? So it's like if you're an active physical parent and you work out and your kids see that, nothing to do with you teaching them or telling them or that, they just see it. They're 6 times more likely to follow that.
I'll argue this all day long. Like if you have kids and you really love your kids and you really want to be a good parent, nothing will make you more motivated to make yourself better like that. Because you quickly realize like, in order for me to do all these things better, I have to be better at these things. Because good luck not being good at them and trying to get your kid to be, good at those things. Impossible.
Yeah.
They definitely do what you do and not what you say.
My kid, I just popped in my head right now because it's been a while since I shared Max is at that fun age. He's, 6 years old. So random stuff comes out. Yeah. And I'm always so curious of like when I hear something new from him, like where the hell did that come from? He was yelling at me to come downstairs. Daddy, come downstairs. Come down. And I'm like, I don't know. I was cleaning the bedroom or something like that. I'll be down there in a minute. No, come down here. I'm going to blow your mind. And all he shows me like this Lego book that has all the villains. Yeah, because there's all these new villains that we didn't know about. It's just,
now do you act like your mind's blown?
Oh, of course. No way. There's more. I get all excited with him and stuff like that because we're always looking for the newest. Like we're on. I don't know if I told you guys that we've now graduated from all the villains from Mario Brothers. We're now on all the villains of Batman. And again, I guess do you guys know how many villains are a part of Batman?
There's a lot, right?
Dude,
Oh,
that's
there
why
is-
Batman's one of the best comic book heroes. There
Bro,
is. It's
there
because of the villains, bro.
there
Like,
is-
there's
well, that's
a
just a
formula
rich guy,
there.
dude.
That's actually true. They say that about like
It's storytelling 101, dude.
he like do you have any idea like there's like 30, bro? I bet you can't even name 10. I couldn't name 10.
Yeah, I
Joker, Two-Face, the guy with the question marks. What's his name?
yeah, Riddler.
Riddler.
Yep.
There's the cat.
Catwoman.
Catwoman.
Yeah.
What's the guy with
With the guy that
the
makes
potato sack? That's
Yeah, potato sack.
Bro,
guy.
there's Polka Dot Man, there's Calendar Man, there's Clayface, there's
Clayface. Yeah,
there is
that's
so
Iceman and
yes, Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze,
There's so many that
Penguin.
I didn't know. Yes,
Catwoman
Penguin.
and-
There's a lot. There's over 30 of them, and
He's all into 'em?
Oh yeah, and we do the little Lego figures, and so he's like, yeah, I gotta.
Bane.
Some of these I have to find because they're like old and they're not new. Oh, here you got them. You put them all up.
Look at that.
There's so many more than that.
Harvey Dent, of course.
Oh, Harley Quinn.
Two-Face.
Of course. How could we forget her? Killer Croc. Yeah, Batman's he's
Killer Croc. That's what he
He's
jumped
not.
the shark.
He's not a great
on that one.
superhero, dude. He's just rich. That's really nothing. Like, what does he do?
It's relatable.
Yeah, okay. You're not gonna be Batman.
He just learned some kung fu, dude.
Do you know that Batman was based off of a real person? I think I told you guys this.
Yeah.
Well, do you
I
know there was
told
a
you
guy? There was a guy.
Theodore Roosevelt, right?
Theodore Roosevelt.
Yeah.
There was a guy who up in Seattle, I believe, where he was at, who was running around.
Yes.
and he
With the Batman costume?
Bro,
no.
I have information about that guy. Keep
I
going.
know it came later on.
Later
out.
on,
Yeah,
yes.
later on came out. Okay, so this guy had been a part of like I want to say like 60 arrests or something like that, and everybody talked about how
He's
he's
like, oh, he's a vigilante hero, you know, and he's like wearing his costume and he's
Yes.
at night. Everybody recognizes him as like this somewhat of a staple in this city.
vigilante. Yeah,
Yeah, and it turns out later that he actually started because he was busting up people that were like selling drugs and all this
Okay.
kind of stuff. Turns out later they found drugs on him.
yeah. He was pedaling on the backside of it.
He was dealing.
Bro, he was in he was in the news. He was all over the place,
so
and
depressing.
they were crediting him for like I want to say like 64.
He was just taking out his competition.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
bro.
exactly that's the article that came out later on. It was like, this whole time we thought he was over here. That's
this
him
is
right
my
there.
block.
Phoenix Jones.
Yeah,
Phoenix
that's
Jones.
Yeah, that's him right
I
there.
liked him.
I know.
You knew who he was? Did
Yes,
you see
I
him?
do. I thought he was
What
awesome.
show was it? There was like some documentary that
at his
kind of
hair.
showed some people that were trying to be real life superheroes, and he was on there.
Oh man,
I know.
I got a book.
That was a bummer.
I got a
you did
book
seem
series
kinda
for
cool.
you, Adam.
What's
a
that?
book series. So I was at the
For
park.
me personally or for Max?
No, for your son. For your
Okay.
son. Actually, you'd probably like. I know Justin would like this. This is something Justin would
You know
like.
I don't like fiction, so it's
Huh?
not,
You don't-
yeah,
Well, no, it's not fiction.
Yeah, yeah.
Just try to stay
Okay.
real
No, no.
always.
Yeah, no, it's not fiction.
Shut up.
So I was at the park with my kids. On Thursdays, I like to go to the park with them. And we ran into some friends and this woman that we know, and she was with her grandkids. Anyway, she was started reading them a book. And so my kids are like, I want to see that. So we all went over and we're listening. And I couldn't believe they made this book series. It's called Who Would Win? And it's like,
Oh, my son would love that.
no, this is the coolest.
We play this game in the hot tub.
I know.
I throw out a villain or a person, and then he throws out one, and then we say who would win.
Okay.
You just look at their powers and you
Yeah,
try
yeah.
and match them.
Okay, this is
simulate
even
it.
cooler than that.
Okay.
It's like who would win in a fight? A great white shark or an orca?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
he'd
yeah.
like that.
Or a lion
Orca.
versus a tiger, or a grizzly bear versus
Tiger.
a polar bear. And it goes in and
Polar bear.
it breaks down their strengths, their
For
weaknesses.
sure, somebody with a 5-year-old son wrote that book.
Bro,
mean, that's
I
like-
am into these books.
Yeah, we play that game.
I went on.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw this, I went on Amazon and I bought. Like,
I'll have to
I
get
feel
it.
like
all of
there's
them.
a
It's called
computer
Who Would Win?
simulation
Who
for
would
this.
win?
Yeah, I'll definitely.
Oh, and my son's like freaking
would
out.
watch
oh yeah,
it.
Max, we get
Oh,
it.
it's like a wasp versus a hornet. And
Well, you've seen that computer program where it's got like all those like people, like thousands of people versus like a
King Kong or
gorilla
something, yeah.
or whatever. Yeah, and it's just like it's stupid. Everybody's climbing on. Like,
$79, you can get the whole stack.
I just put it down in my notes.
Did you really?
Yeah. No, I'll get. He would love that. He'd totally love that. You know what? You guys tease me because I don't like scary stuff.
yeah.
But
What'd you do?
But no, I'm watching. It's. I mean,
Is it
I
a
don't.
scary cartoon?
without us.
No. It's Wednesday, the Netflix series.
Oh.
Wait, hold on.
Scary.
Stop it.
Well, Katrina said it was scary last night when we
you
were
say
watching
way
it.
scary.
I
The
mean, there's-
girl, the one with the girl.
Yeah. Have you watched it?
Adam's
It's not
family.
scary.
I mean, I didn't think it was very scary either, but she made that comment last night though. She's like, "This is so scary for nighttime to watch this before we go to bed."
So you got
she
your
has to watch Seinfeld afterwards.
Hey, you got all your nerve up.
Yeah, I
I'll
did.
watch
I
it.
was like, yeah, I'm gonna
Dang,
tell
I
the
got
guys.
excited.
I watched something scary.
Cool.
You got your blanket.
I actually, have you guys watched watch that series. It's
I
really
watch
good.
It is.
Actually it's very well written.
I like it.
I
Yeah.
haven't watched part 2. I only watched the first one.
I've watched part two,
I'm on
too.
part 2 right now, and it's really good. Yeah, I watched
did a
I
good
watched
job.
the
if you want to watch something scary, we'll watch something scary.
no. That's scary enough for me.
Huh?
I mean, there's like crows flying out of people's mouth and, zombies eating faces. I mean, that's
Yeah.
Come
the
on.
Zombie,
What's
yeah.
it rated? It's like PG. It's like a 13-year-old scary.
It is. It's not. Yeah.
You're not watching
it's
real
Netflix.
scary.
It's not. Well, yeah, it's not like it's scary enough. Though.
Did I tell you guys about the movie I watched called Nefarious? Did I tell you guys about this? Did I tell you about that?
Wait, did you watch Midnight Mass?
No, you guys talked about that one.
You need to watch Midnight Mass.
You guys talked about that. You said that I might
That is
like
one of the
it because
best
TV
shows.
14.
TV 14. Good job, bro. See, you made it.
Working your way up.
Wow.
Can't even be 13.
It might be a
Can't
little.
even be 13
It
and
might
watch
be like
that.
21 though. I don't know. Like it's too much.
No, listen.
Baby steps.
I got to tell you about Nefarious. Did I bring this up on the show already?
No.
So I watched this. There was a priest who was being interviewed, and he performs exorcisms. So
It's
you
like
know,
a real life depiction of a demon, right?
he said, so you know, because you guys know Catholic priests, there are those that actually perform exorcisms. And he said in the interview, he said, "Are there any movies that actually show what it's really like?" And he goes, "Only one." Only when he goes, in fact, it's so accurate, I can't believe they made it. So of course I watched it, and it is good.
I know. I watched
It's all
it too.
dialogue. It's all dialogue. And the story, I think I told you, it's a story of this. It was a serial killer or this murderer.
That right there?
That's it.
Yeah, I would never watch that.
Just because it looks too.
Yeah,
it's not as bad.
That's enough.
It's just
right there.
because of the
that cover is enough to
cover
keep me
image.
away right there.
So that guy right there is this criminal about to get executed, and they have to bring in a psychiatrist or psychologist to either confirm or deny that he's crazy. If he's crazy, he doesn't get the death sentence.
Oh my God, the ratings are terrible,
And
Sal.
no, it was good. I'm telling you.
You have the worst.
Watch it first.
You goes like this. You're the worst, then Justin, and then Doug and I are way separate from you guys as far as like our movie ratings.
Yeah, you guys would like this, dude.
No way.
So before I watch anything, I do go to Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Right.
I go to Rotten
Because
Tomatoes, too.
If I saw a score like this,
You know
No
what?
way.
So you need-
can't.
I won't
I won't
touch
even touch it if it doesn't
You
break
need the
70.
crowd
I
to tell
can't
you what
touch
to
it.
like. I
Listen,
get it.
listen. Hold on a second.
No, no.
You'll let me babysit your kid. You trust me more than these Rotten Tomatoes. Trust me. Watch this, dude.
Those are two different things. Those are two different things.
Trust me on this, dude.
I trust you to watch my kid because I know you're going to make him watch some boring ass TV. He's going to fall asleep. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I got.
That's the weird part, though. Is I really like good movies, but also too, I can enjoy really shitty.
oh,
movies.
you know, it did get 96 for viewers.
okay.
So,
Okay,
so,
so you-
I take viewers over critics.
Told you.
I'm with that too. I'm with that.
So
on
he's
that.
getting interviewed, and the way he's responding when the demon starts talking and what he says is it's so good. It is so good, and it's all dialogue. So don't worry. There's no scary stuff that happens.
Yeah, nice try.
Hey,
I'll read the cliff notes.
Speaking of movies, dude, I don't want to talk too much. I want to get in trouble, but I have a buddy who's about to. I'll speak vaguely. He's about to do a competition that his wife is opposed to because it takes time away from family and all that stuff. And so he's like, "Oh man, she doesn't want me to do it, but I really want to do it. What do I do?" So we're talking about it, and so he's decided he's going to train as if he's going to do the competition, and then hopefully his wife will change his mind. You know, I'm like, good idea.
Great strategy.
Yeah, good plan, dude. So we were talking about this, and then I'm like, you know what you should do is you should sit down with her and say, look, I love you. Your opinion is really important to me. The family's most important. I really want to do this. Before you give me your answer, just hear what I'm about to say, and then let me know tomorrow type of deal. So that's kind of my advice. And he's like, I'll try that. And then I remember that clip from Rocky 2. And I'm like, you're hoping this happens. Do you remember the clip in Rocky 2
Where she tells him
where she wakes up
Yeah, yeah.
from the coma?
Yeah, yeah.
And she tells him to win.
Yeah.
Best clip ever.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Best.
That's
no,
not happening
it's
for
not gonna
him.
happen. She's gonna come back.
I think I know who you're talking about too.
Yeah, you do know.
He could skip his competition. He's done plenty of competitions. Go be a dad, bro.
Oh man, that sucks, dude. Hey, I have another friend who just used BPC and thymosin beta for recovery from shoulder surgery.
Wolverine Stack.
So he's not like a super fitness guy or whatever. Just started getting to working out. Had an injury, got surgery on it, and they had to go in and fix impingement, bone spur, a little bit of a repair. And he started taking the peptide stack, and he's like reporting to me, and he's like, my PT doesn't understand.
Yeah.
They don't understand how I'm recovering and healing so fast. He's like, it's wild. She's like, I'm doing things that I should only be able to do in about 4 weeks now. It's crazy.
I don't think it's an exaggeration at all that we've estimated that it cuts the recovery in 50%.
That's what the data
and
shows.
50% is ridiculous when you think about that. In any injury, like half the time to
Instead
recover.
of 6 months, 3 months.
Mainly so you could do all of the, active work that needs to be done to strengthen you again. It's like it allows you to not be in.
Have you guys seen the animal studies where they'll take a mouse and they'll sever the Achilles and they'll give some of them the BPC and then some not? It's like 40, 50% faster healing.
It's crazy.
It's so hard for me to
I know,
imagine like that
Yeah,
study,
well,
like
it's
a
such a
guy with
dark
like
study.
little tiny
razor,
yeah, little tiny hands. You have to have such tiny hands to cut an Achilles on.
Or they're just eating
mouse.
cheese, and it's just like perfect.
Yeah,
Some
That's
psycho.
gonna mess stuff up.
it just does.
Mouse is like,
I don't know, dude.
This
I
is
don't know how much
cool.
I take
Cheese
this.
right
That's why nobody takes the mouse studies seriously.
Sometimes the mice get lucky and they get the milestone inhibiting,
Yeah. Yeah.
they get all jacked and stuff. Anyway,
Yeah, that's the good study.
Justin, we're going to mention Viore, and since you're wearing their shorts right now, I think we
Yeah.
should talk about.
those are Viore.
My metas, these are the meta shorts. Yeah,
He always wears meta
It's
shorts.
kind of like they're like the slacks
Of shorts.
of the group. Yeah, but I like just because it's still super stretchy. and
You work
comfy.
out in them.
Yeah,
You can work
I
out
know
in them.
people give me grief because
they look like
even
slacks.
too, yeah, like khaki stuff. Like it's funny because I'll do like I was doing some video I think and people are great in khakis and all this and I'm like they're stretchy. It's just the same as like wearing any kind of gym shorts.
Well,
are the
it
best
looks like
shorts.
they look like could you imagine doing that like in Dockers or something like
No.
that?
I would have shredded. I would have had a whole.
Yeah. They're super stretchy and comfortable.
Did you wear Dickies when you were in high school?
What do you think?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're so funny, bro.
Like,
Did you
that's
not?
Ben
Did you
Davis.
not? Did I send you the picture?
No,
I was a
didn't wear
total
Dickies.
Dickie.
I lived
I lived in San
wore
Jose.
Dickies for a
If
little
you
bit.
wore Dickies in San Jose in the 90s,
Bro, I'm like
you were in a
called.
gang.
I was a mountain cholo, dude, all the way.
I was just gonna say, you're either a white dude who skates or you're a cholo. If you wore Dickies in the 90s, you wore Dickies.
I was like
in the 90s.
destined to be like a mechanic or a lumberjack.
You were not a skater, so you were.
No,
a cholo.
nobody wore where I was. I was in a cowboy town, so there was like I did what everybody else didn't do. So it was like, oh, they're doing that, I'll do something else.
Yeah, but you're dark too. So they think you were a gang.
Yeah. No, I was a bit of I was a bit of an anomaly where I came from for sure. There's only about six of us.
Did
that
you
were
wear?
brown.
Did you wear Cortez shoes too with them?
No, I didn't.
You didn't go all the
no,
way?
No, I didn't go all in like that. I wore like
Did you
I wore like
I've seen you button
flannels.
the thing on the top.
Yeah,
just in
Just
here.
the top and open.
Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing.
That was later.
Okay.
Yeah, that was later. That was okay later on to do that, and not be a gangster. So I went through all kinds of phases.
gangsters got style.
I saw.
What
You
are
know
you
they
gonna
can't.
do?
You know what's coming back right now? Janko jeans.
I know.
I took
Yes,
a
they
picture.
are.
I took a picture of a guy in line. Where was that? I was coming out of a concert, I think.
Dude, hacky sacks have to be back then. I mean, let's be honest.
We're close. Because now here's what's funny.
I like that one.
I used to think
I love hacky
this is
sacks.
how I know I'm old. There was a lot of ways I know I'm old.
That you're back
This
in
is-
style?
This is one of no, that's not what it is.
It's
I wasn't a style
You
man.
live
It was
long
like
enough.
so hip.
The style comes back.
Listen, here's how I know. When I was a kid, I thought Jankos looked awesome. I did. Everybody did.
Yeah.
They look ridiculous.
I didn't.
Now I see them and I go, man, we look dumb.
Hey, so I gotta sell out.
You don't even see their shoes.
I got to sell out Katrina right now. So
it's like-
Katrina has this girl who does her
ridiculous.
eyebrows, who's like, let's see here, she's 20, like 29 or something like that. So she's quite a bit younger than we are.
Yeah.
And Katrina comes in and she's like, "You got to get these jeans." She's telling Katrina that, and Katrina's like, "Nah, I don't know about this." She's like, "No, trust me, this is what's in style, this and that." And she gets her to buy these jeans, and it's like they're it's back to really baggy, like the super baggy look, even on girls is the look. And she like puts this outfit together. Literally, we put the outfit together. She's put it on. She's wearing it. She's like, "What do you think?" I'm like, "No, it's hot. You look great." So we go out to Morgan Hill has like on Friday nights like this. First time we went to like concert in the park type of deal. It's just packs downtown, and we went down there with Jason and Danielle and stuff like that. Go hang out. And it was the funniest thing ever because we're walking in, and I kid you not, at least 8 girls walk by and they're wearing the exact same outfits. And the girls were like 16 to 19 years old. So Katrina was like, "Never again am I wearing
She's
this."
all, I'm in style.
Yeah, she was more embarrassed, dude.
Yeah,
She's like,
yeah.
"That's too young." She's like,
too young
maybe
on
like
that
late
trend.
20s, 30s, because she's like, so I'll pass as my 30s every once in a while, but I don't know what the 16-year-olds walking by.
Jessica bought a pair that were kind of like that. And she put them on and she just gave my daughter. She's like, I can't. This is too it's too young.
Yeah.
So now my daughter wears them.
Yeah, Katrina rocked it for a minute, and then she was just like, "Yeah, no, I'm not. This is."
There's a point where you're just like, I'm just gonna dress.
Is there for girls? For guys, definitely. We can't
Everybody.
do that. No. Girls can do, especially if you still look young, and I think so. I think you I think she can't. What she can't do is dress like 20-year-old slutty. That doesn't go over well. You know what I'm saying? But you could be hip. I feel like you could be. I feel like you could be in your. I think you could be
window for that.
A woman in her 40s and be hip.
Yeah.
Dress hip still. Slutty, not so much.
Well, there's classy. It goes up to classy is what you do.
Unless it's Halloween.
No. Even then, I think that I think hip is the line. Slutty is where you cross over.
Yeah.
And for dudes, you can't even try and look hip if you're in your 40s.
Or slutty.
That'll be really bad.
Yeah, that's
only works for some
it's hard to do.
Once you get over 40, it's like all solid colors, all like you can't do anything crazy.
No.
And if you do, it's all bad.
No.
All
because
bad.
of the look that Doug's giving me, I'm going to change topics. I like. Have you guys seen the guy that held his
It's
breath?
just getting interesting.
Did you see the guy that held his breath for the new world record?
What is it?
Oh, it's like 29 minutes.
29 minutes.
Wow.
He held his breath for
That sounds
20.
impossible.
He beat certain aquatic mammals.
Yeah, like a manatee or something.
Yeah, dude. 29 minutes.
What was the previous record?
That's a good question. How do you do that? What is he breathing?
I remember when
idea.
when we were kids, that was a big deal to try and do that. And I got to a couple minutes. Like
I would.
How do you not have like an aneurysm or something?
I actually am really good at that. You guys know that?
me too.
I can hold my breath a long time. We should try that.
You can?
Look at that. What was the previous record? Does it say?
Let me see.
No. That's crazy. Oh, 5 minutes longer than the previous record.
So he's got to
Is
be
he
able
also one
to.
of those free divers.
He's got to
kinda
be able
guys?
to calm his heart rate way down.
Yep.
Right. And you got to be able to hold a bunch of your breath. So I imagine you'd hold a bunch, and then you have to be able to calm your heart rate down like immediately.
It's got to be that.
And even then, though, I mean, it's like when you get your heartbeat down to 30 beats, and then your huge breath you take in.
There's got to be, of course, training and
Just
skill.
fill every inch of his lungs.
There's obviously training involved, but there's a genetic component there for sure. So he must have either a large lung capacity, higher, oxygen
breathe
concentration,
real
Also
slow.
low heart rate. Probably
low
combo
heart
those two.
rate. I mean, it's just crazy.
He breathed pure oxygen for 10 minutes before.
Oh, pure oxygen.
That's cheating.
Yeah,
That is
come on,
cheating,
that's-
isn't it?
Yeah. If I do that, I could do it too.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Anybody could do that.
Just kidding.
That's wild.
That is crazy, right? It's insane. You guys remember the movie Abyss? Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
Where they were breathing the liquid underwater? They never invented that. I thought for sure they'd come up with that. With like an oxygen liquid so you could go deep underwater. You don't remember that? All right, look, if you want to see if hormone replacement therapy is for you, or if you're interested in peptide therapy and you want to go through doctors, you don't want any third-party research chemical stuff. You want doctors, you want real pharmacies, go to mphormones.com. The doctors there will prescribe the best stuff for you and your goals. Again, it's mphormones.com. Back to the show. This segment of the podcast is brought to you by Mind Pump Fitness Coaching. This is the #1 course that teaches trainers and coaches how to build sustainable 6-figure plus businesses and careers in fitness. Look, it's roundtable based, so you can hear Adam, Justin, and myself teaching you how to build a better business, get more leads, close more deals, close bigger deals, and be more effective trainers. By the way, our course is nationally recognized. In fact, it gives you 1.9 CEUs with or for your NASM certification. Find out more at mindpumpfitnesscoaching.com.
First question is from Marcial T. Do you think under desk pedal exercises are good enough to replace walking?
This is okay. So here's why I picked this question. There are things that I have completely changed my mind on in fitness.
Agreed.
From one end to the complete other end. In the past,
I would have laughed at this in the past.
I would have laughed so hard
Yeah.
if you bought a under the desk pedal thing.
Yeah.
So you could work on your computer and just move your feet a little bit. And I would have been like, that's dumb, total waste of time. First off, it doesn't replace walking. Walking has additional benefits that this won't provide. Yeah. Nonetheless, this will improve insulin sensitivity.
Yeah.
Fact.
So is fidgeting.
Well, the study came out. All you do is do little calf raises.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean,
This
that's
right
nothing.
here.
Yeah.
They were just doing this, and they saw a significant
I'm always tapping my feet now ever since I.
because of that.
Yeah.
Really? Because of that?
Oh,
Wow.
yeah. Oh,
And there's also studies on people that have little ticks and how many more calories they burn in a day and just total movement. So no, I'm a total fan of this walking desk. You know, our buddy Brandon Carter, King Keto. he's like, this is what he swears by that keeps him in that ridiculous shape 24/7 is that he's on that bike 3-4 times a day. He
Really?
does, anytime he gets on his computer, does work calls.
sits on a bike?
He just sits on a bike. He has a little station and he's like barely moving, but he's pedals.
just moving.
Yes, just moving.
You know, it's funny because it increases blood flow, improves concentration. I bet if they did a study,
Facilitates recovery.
Yep, I bet if they did a study on this, as silly as it sounds, I bet if they did a study on concentration, cognitive performance, productivity, you'd see an improvement. That alone is worth it. Yeah. But the other part is insulin sensitivity. Just flexing and relaxing muscles improves your body's ability to suck up the sugar in your blood.
Suck up, it's like a sponge.
And it's it doesn't have to be a workout. This is the crazy part. That study that you're talking about is even less than what this is.
Just this.
It was people literally just lifting their heels off the floor for like 60 reps. I don't remember how many reps it was, but it wasn't a workout.
Yeah.
And they saw this great improvement. So I'm like a super fan of this. Whereas in the past, I would have said this is the dumbest waste of time.
No, I agree. I agree. I think people that are trying to do little things like this is, especially if you can make this a part of your lifestyle. If you were someone who never did this and you had a desk all day long and now all of a sudden you do this little pedaling, I think that makes a significant difference over the course of a year.
It's not going to cause all this fat loss. It's not going to cause all this improvement.
Well, especially if you add a cupcake that you eat every day, you know what I'm saying, to cancel it out.
But what it is going to do is improve your health. Yeah. This will improve your health. It will improve over time your health, even if you just did this.
If you're a desk jockey, like little things like this is definitely.
And again, and performance at work. This should improve cognitive performance at work because as you control blood sugar, you also operate better.
And I think the way this is phrased, I don't think I would use it to replace walking.
Right.
I think I would just do it all the time, and then when I can walk extra, I'd still go for a walk. But if it's like it came down to a day where you didn't get a chance to walk, but you at least did that, that's definitely better than not doing.
Yeah, walking is better. Walking uses more muscles, obviously, but you also get up and move. You tend to go outside. You have better digestion because of the posture that you have when you're standing. So it isn't a replacement. But I agree with you, Adam.
Even better Thigh Master.
Actually, so it's funny is I got my mom one of these little pedal things for when she's sitting down. Yep, because of this.
I mean, my sister swears by the walking desk. I mean, that's another option too, like that.
Next question is from Jason Miller, 56. Is it possible to modify any MAPS program to make it an all-day workout, as you guys have talked about? If so, which ones and how would you do it? I have a home gym, and I'm interested in trying it out.
So the all-day workout, we've talked about this a few times on the show. So what this would look like is you would do like a few sets in the morning. You'd wait a couple hours, do another few sets, wait a couple hours, do another few sets. So essentially every 2 hours or so, you're doing maybe 3 to 5 sets of something.
How many exercises like would you?
You still would do like what anabolic is. You just would spread it out.
The way I would do it with the MAPS program is if the exercise calls for 3 sets, I would do 1. So I do 1 set of everything and then wait a couple hours, do another set of everything, wait another couple hours, do another set of everything.
Oh, you wouldn't break it up in body parts like just this?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, because repeating this is where I found the value, is practicing the same exercise throughout the day. This really weird thing happens. About halfway or 3/4 of the way through the day, your strength goes up.
Yep.
It's really weird.
So in other words, what this would look like, MAPS Anabolic would be a perfect program for this because it calls for 3 sets of everything. So you basically would go MAPS Anabolic and you would do 1 set of each exercise.
Come back,
couple hours, 1 set again, couple hours later, come back 1 more time. And you could actually even probably squeeze a 4th one in if you really wanted to.
That's right. I would love for people to experiment with this and report back. This is super not convenient. This doesn't work for most people, but if you're like, I have an all-day thing, I love working out, test it out. It's really remarkable how the body responds.
I think the mistake that most people would make is to do too much, is try and do 3 MAPS Anabolic workouts in a day. And it's like, no, that's not the
That'll
idea.
overdo it real quick.
Next question is from Andrew Gervais. Should I change my caloric intake based on lifting days versus non-lifting days?
You can, and this is how bodybuilders tend to do it. They tend to eat more on the days when they're going to have the hardest workouts or on the days when they're focusing on a body part that's lagging. This is generally the rule. It's not always the rule, but generally this is what bodybuilders do. I would agree with that.
Yeah,
I
that
think
makes sense.
You're probably better having higher calories on the days you're active just to improve your performance, just to give you that better performance.
So I also like looking at this in the reverse. In other words, if I had everyone knows that I enjoy the occasional ice cream treat, this thing, which is additional calories in my day.
Like 4 days a week.
At times, not right now. So what I do is like, let's say that's something that's in my freezer right now, and it's something that I want. Like, if I got a really hard workout in that day, like
That's the day you'll eat it?
That's the day I'll allow something like that. If I missed my workout or didn't have much of a workout at all, like that's the day I'm gonna go like, tomorrow I can have it, And so
that's really good behaviorally speaking.
And it just has worked really well for me. It's I'm not telling myself, no, I can't have that thing. It's more so, have I earned those additional calories? And also logically going, okay, I train really hard. So I know that if I overconsume a little bit of calories, some of it's going to get partitioned over to recovery and building muscle. So that's the time I'm going to do that. So I actually like thinking of this in the reverse versus like, oh, today, bodybuilder me thought like the other way. Like bodybuilder me, I'm so planned.
What days would you have the highest calories for
So when I was doing back, legs, big body parts. If I was going to go, and that typically deadlifting and squatting is where I'd fuel the most because I was really trying to push deadlift and squat. So the days that I was deadlifting or squatting, I would fuel those days. Now that made sense because I'm mapping out every meal, I'm tracking everything. In real life today, where I'm not measuring, I'm not tracking, I'm not weighing, I just go like, hey, I trained really hard today. Like I can enjoy, or like, let's say Katrina is craving a burger and fries. Like if she tells me today when I come home, like, hey, I'm feeling like burger and fries today. What do you feel like? And I'm like, I didn't get a chance to get my lift in today. Let's not do that today. Or let's say I go, oh man, I got a great lift today. Like, yeah, let's go ahead. Let's have that. So that's how I manage that when I'm not tracking is I allow those things that I know that are going to be putting me in a caloric surplus without even tracking. I know it's going to put me in a caloric surplus on days that I not train.
Now that being said, for most people, it's not that big of a difference. So what I mean by that is if you're struggling eating the right foods and being consistent and getting good sleep, don't pay attention to this. Sometimes people get caught up in the less important things and they sacrifice the more important things.
Right.
So what we're talking about is like you've already checked all the other boxes. Now you can start playing with this a little bit.
Next question is from Deanna Daily Flow. Have you worked with anyone with hypermobility? I just take my training slow and controlled, and I can't move fast or it leads to injury. I'm wondering if there is one program that is best to start with. I do a lot of stability exercises to start each morning to help.
Symmetry.
Starter.
Yeah.
Symmetry with isometrics.
Oh, the isometrics and symmetry.
Yeah,
but starter would
true.
be also be a good option.
Well, just for the stability training.
Have you guys? Do you guys
Yes.
remember the
Yes.
first time you worked with the
Yes.
hypermobility?
Yeah.
How
I
weird
had
was
a
that?
handful. I had a handful in my entire career. Yeah, no, they're crazy to watch. Watch them squat and like the legs all kind of wobble and drop all the way to super low. Like, no, super
They're
crazy.
all over the place.
Yeah, so your flexibility, the ability of your muscles to stretch and extend is controlled by your central nervous system. So hypermobility is when the central nervous system, for whatever reason, isn't stabilizing you very well. So you're like hyper flexible. Like I remember one woman I trained, one of the first people I trained with hypermobility, she could be in any position. She could like bend herself in any position, but she was also weak, which caused instability. And this was a bit of a learning curve for me. One of the things that was effective was isometrics because there is no movement, it's just tension.
Yeah.
And the second thing I did is I limited the range of motion. This is something you almost never do with a client. You almost never limit a range of motion if someone can reach it. But with her, I would have her squat to parallel.
Yeah, it would
box
be
squats.
straight 90s.
That's
Yeah,
it.
That's where I actually would stay firm.
I
in
would
that.
stop everything far short of her range of motion, and we would pause the reps. So for this person here, you're gonna do
pause reps.
you're gonna do shorter reps. You're gonna pause at the bottom, pause at the top. You're not gonna move quickly. In fact, hypermobility and power is a bad combination. You're asking for injury.
Yeah.
And you're literally limiting your range of motion. So if you hear us talk about like full range of motion, full squats, like full shoulder press, this is not for you. For you, it's like when you're doing your shoulder press, you're stopping at your nose. When you're doing your bench press, you're not going all the way down to your chest. When you're doing your squat, you're stopping at 90 and you're holding that bottom position and creating tension.
You need to create more intrinsic tension.
That's
So
right.
that's the goal.
And that helps improve stability and mobility. And if you when it's time to go lower, only when you start to master those ranges of motion, but it can take a while. Hypermobility also is correlated with a challenge in getting stronger. Getting stronger while you're hypermobile is very difficult because of the CNS signal. All right, I know you liked that episode. If you did, check this one out. One of the keys to fat loss is protein. It's true. If you're not eating a high protein diet, you're not going to burn as much body fat as you can. So in today's episode, we're going to talk about the smartest ways to use protein for fat burn and to build muscle. You got to watch this.
I wish I understood this earlier in my career. I think it was probably almost 10 years in when I
Same.
started to just focus on this with clients.
I knew it was important,
Yeah.
but I don't know how important.
Yeah, I also did. I knew it was important, but I also didn't